Trent Harvey, I got that work, now rock out.
Welcome in. I am LadyBlueflames, and if you have played women's sports, watched women's sports, talked about women's sports, coached women's sports, or just supported in general, going to a game, buying merch, taking, nieces and nephews or daughters, granddaughters, welcome home. This is the home for all women's sports, whether it's basketball, soccer, field hockey, lacrosse, hockey, tennis, all of the above. We will eventually cover just about every sport for women's sports out there. We're going to start with the professional leagues and then work our way to college. Of course, when the Olympics rolls around, we'll discuss the Olympics, but just the huge umbrella of women's sports. To everybody tuning in, welcome home. Get comfy and enjoy yourselves. Okay? So welcome in. This is my home of women's sports to start. Right now, it's mostly WNBA jerseys, but I'm working on merch for the NSSL as well as the PWHL, which is the Women's Hockey League. So don't worry. The other sports will get representation on the wall as well moving forward. So we're working on it. But again, I'm LadyBlueflames. I have loved sports for as long as I can remember. And obviously basketball is my favorite, but I have played a lot of sports. I've watched a lot of sports. I've coached sports, and I've trained athletes to help them get better at their sport. So I love the world of sports, and then just women's sports. Of course, I'm a woman, so I try to support my fellow women athletes, no matter what their goal or purpose is or what sport they play. I try to offer help and support if I am able to do that. So that is kind of my beginning as far as sports. Like I said, I've played just about everything. Basketball, softball, track and field hockey, lacrosse. I even tried crew. That didn't last very long, but I made an attempt. Cross country. I've dabbled in any sport that I could possibly sign up for. But I would say from that age of 8 to 10, there really wasn't much out there for me to learn more and get better and get more involved. It was a very small world as far as what sports and what activities I could be in when I was around 8 or 10. And so it took a while for me to actually get to basketball. I played a lot of other stuff before I personally got into basketball. And then that started to change probably when I got to around the 11, 12-year-old range. That's when my world just completely expanded, and then there was a lot more opportunity. There was a lot more examples, and there was a lot more to look forward to. And so, in a sense, I have created this because when I was initially in the sports world, it felt very small. And I felt like there really wasn't many places I can go to and feel at home and feel like I can have a conversation and enjoy that conversation. Because as a kid, most of my family wasn't into sports. So I really didn't have a true outlet as far as talking about sports. And you guys will realize that there's only a few things that get LadyBlueflames talking constantly. That is sports and fitness. Those two topics I can talk to no end. Other stuff I'm usually, chilling and in the background. But when it comes to sports and fitness, those are things that I love to talk about, love to share information about, love to learn about, and just continue to dive deeper into the entire world of women's sports. So each week we will dive into different professional leagues, what's going on with the league at that time, whether they're in season, out of season, their regular season, playoffs, whatever is going on. Each week we'll dive into all the different leagues and where they are currently at that point in time. So right now, we're definitely going to talk about a lot of the different leagues. There's a lot more leagues now, and even some of the smaller leagues that aren't like a full season. We'll discuss those as well. So we'll discuss past, present, and future as far as players, coaches, leagues, like how all this stuff started, where it is now, what's happened in between, and kind of some big, huge pieces of time that kind of shifted things for women's sports. So I think there's been several places in the timeline where like you could pinpoint where the momentum started to change. And so we'll cover those as well. But we'll definitely cover a lot of leagues. Each month we will focus on a different book. And then each episode I will have like an excerpt from that book. But that month will be dedicated to one book. So each month I will have a new book that I'm introducing. Maybe you've read, maybe you haven't read yet, but it'll be introduced. We'll also let you guys know about a few documentaries that are out there for the different sports so that, you know, you can check those out and learn even more information. So definitely we'll try to cover a lot. Each week the show will be between an hour and 2 hours depending on what I'm covering that week. And so 2 hours will be the max, and depending on the week it may be an hour episode, but I always try to cover as much up to date as I can, but then also throwing in a few things from either previous players or previous leagues that we can learn from, and kind of how it was changed later for like either a new league or that player helping kind of grow the game or grow the league. So we'll cover a wide span of time when it comes to women's sports. Like I said, once I really got into the sports world, I wanted to learn as much as possible, and I love sharing that information with others so that you can have an informed opinion about whatever women's sports you watch or don't watch or haven't tried yet. Another goal is going to be getting people to a live game if they have not been to a live game yet. And whether that's basketball, soccer, hockey, getting to a live game, because I think a live game is a different experience than just watching them on TV. So I want to get as many people to experience a live game as I can. And so we'll have ways for you guys to like fill out information so that I can try to get tickets throughout the year that I can send you guys so you guys can actually attend a game. No matter where your location is, it's very easy to get tickets and like exchange it, transfer it to somebody else so they go to the game. So that's definitely something that's going to be a big goal of the show as well. Also, I am a DC native, so I rep and support all my DC teams. Washington Mystics, Washington Spirit. We do not have a hockey team. Hopefully we get one because I would love to go to a live hockey game. And then for colleges, I went to UVA, so I rep University of Virginia. You know, I'm sorry, it is what it is. But I've always believed in trying to support all the leagues in whatever way I can, whether it's sharing with my friends, getting friends to go to games, getting friends to watch games with me, getting merch when I'm financially able to, getting to a game when I'm financially able to. So there's a lot of ways to support the world of women's sports. Almost all of them are on social media. So if you're on socials, dropping them a follow, because they all have a lot of content up in their sport, but also the things they're doing outside of their sport. So a lot of them do a lot of charity work, a lot of community stuff. Some of them are even gamers. So there's a lot of ways to support anything that's going on in the world of women's sports. So find the best way you can support and do that. There's no wrong way to support. So that's also a goal, is for me to help educate you guys on, where to find these players, where to find some of the best merch. So it also be me wearing, or at least showing you guys other types of merch that I have either purchased or been gifted, and then let you guys know where you can find some of this stuff. You got a lot more players coming out with shoes in the next couple years, so depending on what's coming out and when it comes out, I'll do some unboxing reveals of some new things that I get, so that'll be exciting. But stuff will be coming out, and I'll try to keep you guys updated with that as well. But that's me and this show, at least to start, in a nutshell. Just sharing information, welcoming everybody in, and trying to provide as much information and support as I can for anybody else that wants to get involved or just wants to know more, wants to do more. That's what I'm gonna be here for. Obviously, got the WNBA, which the draft is actually this month, and the season starts, I believe it's May 16th. It's like that Friday. And so the draft this month, season starts next month. There are 13 teams. There is a new team this season. So that's very exciting, because we've been asking for expansion in the WNBA for a long, long time. And it just seemed like it just was not happening. But Golden State team will begin this season. So now the league has 13 teams, and it's going to be interesting. The draft is going to be interesting, and we'll do a show covering the WNBA draft as well. So don't worry, we'll get there. And so the WNBA obviously is the longest running professional league as far as I know. At least I think in the U.S. I can't speak for if there's any professional leagues in other countries, because I'm quite sure there may be, and so I'll dig into that as well. But I know as far as the U.S., it's one of the longest running ones. Then we got the soccer league, which is the NWSL. They started in 2012, and they have currently 14 teams. They are actually in season right now. They have a pretty long season. They started their season in March, and regular season goes all the way to November, and then they have playoffs. So we'll be covering the NWSL for quite a bit. Then you got the hockey league, the PWHL, which they started in August 2023. So the hockey league is definitely the newest. And right now they have 6 teams, and most of them are in places you would consider like hockey places. So you got Toronto, Boston, Montreal, Minnesota, and New York, and then Ottawa. So hopefully the hockey league, eventually has some expansion and has teams in other places. I would love to go to a live hockey game. It's like one of the few sports that I haven't been to live. So I would love to go to a live hockey game. So we'll see. Because right now, New York is the closest team to me. So we'll see how that goes. And now, basketball, obviously, in the last couple years, have added some smaller leagues during the offseason of the WNBA. So you got, the first one was Athletes Unlimited, which is player run. Like, they don't do coaches and all that stuff. It's completely player run. And then you have Unrivaled, which just started this year. It went from January to March. That's 3v3 basketball, and they also did a 1v1 tournament. So we got a lot of different leagues, a lot of different formats, a lot of players, a lot of teams, a lot of coaches, a lot of things we can cover pretty much all year long with how some of these leagues are scheduled out. So that's very exciting that there's less and less downtime in between leagues than it used to be. So I feel like over the last couple years, the women's leagues have been filling in the gaps of when there's really no like true specific time to watch it, whereas now we do have it. Like you got that January to March, and you got kind of that summer, then you got a little bit in the fall because the season playoffs are usually in the fall, and so you get a little bit of a break, but not too long where you're just like waiting for the next season to start and find more games and trying to follow more people overseas. So it's definitely been nice the last couple years having multiple leagues going throughout the year. As a fan, I feel like amazed at how different it was compared to when I was like 12 and trying to find games to watch or just find information in general. It was very like almost non-existent. It was very hard to find information. Social media wasn't what it was. Internet wasn't what it was. Everybody didn't have computers. And so as a kid, I was literally taking trips to the library to like find books that had drills, find videos and different ways to like learn about the sport, get better at sports, and see what else was out there. So like every week, like making a trip to the library to like Xerox copy some stuff and like bring it home and like try to do it myself on the court. And not really having like now you could go on YouTube, TikTok, anywhere and like look up a workout specific for either your sport, specific for speed, specific for agility. Like the availability of all that information now is absolutely insane. And my 10, 11, 12-year-old self would have went crazy having that much like at my fingertips. Like I would have loved it and I would have just went head first 100%, just gone. So I love that for all the generations coming up, like having access to information, having access to games, having access to video footage so that you can study other players, and just having access to players that look like you. I'm just gonna put that there. Just look like you. Of course, starting out when I love sports, all my people that I gravitated to were, male athletes. And I mean, that's what was showcased on the TV. That was what was in the commercials. Those are the people that had shoes. Those are the people that had clothes. And so I'm very happy that generations now have examples that they can see on a regular basis. Not just when it's playoff time and not just when it's tournament time, but I mean all year round there's access to footage. And a lot of these players are very, very much in tune with like their fans and on social media, so they'll interact, and that's just not something that I had when I was growing up, and I'm very happy that people have that now. So there's been a lot of things that have changed since I was growing up and learning sports, and I'm very happy for people that actually have that now. All right, and so we also have the Final Four is this weekend. The women's Final Four is this weekend. We got 2 games tonight, and the championship is on Sunday. So the Final Four, we got South Carolina, UConn, UCLA, and Texas. That's the Final Four for women's basketball. And obviously, UConn isn't really a surprise because UConn has been like that college dynasty when it comes to women's basketball. Like, they've been at the top for a very, very long time. South Carolina has been becoming a powerhouse with Dawn Staley, like, completely growing that program and putting that program on the map with her recruiting, her coaching, and just her being who she is, South Carolina has been put on the map. Like, they're up there now as far as kind of becoming a powerhouse for women's basketball. UCLA, I think it's been in and out of kind of being at the top. Is that they've definitely broken a few records, and it's actually been pretty fun watching them play. Texas is another really good team, so I think the games tonight and then the game on Sunday is going to be very, very good. So I'm very excited. I'm very much a process person. But our book for this month is going to be Dear Black Girls from none other than Asia Wilson. This book is a very easy read. Like, it's not super long, but it has a lot of great stuff in it. Even if you're not into basketball, she talks a lot about a lot more than just basketball. So it's a very good read. But Dear Black Girls by Asia Wilson. And it's called Dear Black Girls, How to Be True to You. So, my excerpt today, where did I put it? Alright. Just a little piece for this week. Each week we'll have a different piece from a book. So it just says, we just want to be seen as human beings in the world. We just want to be heard when we speak. We just want to be respected when we walk into a room. We just want to be us. Is that too much to ask? I don't want to have to be unapologetic for you to hear me. I want to be able to whisper if I feel like it. I want to be able to speak however I want to speak. And so she talks a lot about just being yourself. Like, once you figure out who you are, be yourself. And a lot of times in the world of women's sports, there's a lot of like censoring or labels put on certain things and certain behaviors that wouldn't be if it were, you know, a male athlete, or if it was a white woman athlete. Like, there's different black women athletes have definitely been viewed differently, and their behaviors trigger certain things from other people that a lot of times become unsavory. And so she talks a lot about in the book of, like, once you know who you are, being confident no matter where you're going, no matter what room you're in. And it doesn't even just have to be sports. It could be in the world of business. It could be in school. Just being yourself, being confident, and not feeling like we have to be unapologetic about it. Like, most people don't have to use the word unapologetic, but that's kind of was a thing for quite some time when people were looked at in a weird way. So that's one small piece from her book. She covers a lot of different things over her career, from high school to college to the pros to the Olympics. And so, as I said, even if you're not like into basketball, it's still a really good read. If you have like a niece, a daughter, a sister, a mom, I bought my mom a copy. I had her read it. She loved it. It's a really good read, and just another tangible example as far as like being in the world of like either women's sports, being in the world of business, like anybody trying to quote unquote climb the ladder and kind of become the best in their area, whatever it is. Like I said, that is the book for this month, Dear Black Girls, Asia Wilson. I'm not going to spoil the whole book, so each week I will have like just a little tiny piece from different chapters, And so if you're interested, definitely check it out. It's a very nice, simple read. It doesn't take very long. Literally, I finished that the day that I got it. I pre-ordered it, and as soon as it came in, I read it that entire day. And I've probably read it about 6 times now since then. So at the end of each show, I will always have a most valuable person. And so this most valuable person can be a player, a coach, a huge supporter fan, a commentator, a sports broadcaster, a brand. So the most valuable person is going to cover just about the full spectrum of any type of job that can be within women's sports. So this being the first one that was very crucial when I was growing up, is R.A. Chambers. Now, she has been a huge promoter and supporter of women's sports, and she coined the term the WNBA is important. So if you've heard that, it was her. She's the one who coined it when the league started back in 96, 97. And she has been everywhere across women's sports. I mean, literally covering everything. Basketball, volleyball, gymnastics. She's been to the Olympics covering. And she's always doing like unveilings for like different brands that'll launch stuff for the leagues and for the players. She's always showing videos of like care packages from different brands that have like WNBA stuff or player stuff. And growing up, if I wanted information, if I found her, I knew I was going to find information, because she has immersed herself in the world of women's sports, professional, collegiate, Olympic, all over. And so she is on pretty much any social platform that you use, Twitter /X, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and she does interviews with so many people, players, coaches, fans, like everybody. I actually got to meet her at All-Star Game last year when I went to Phoenix, and that is definitely at the top of my list of like best moments in my lifetime. Being able to like not just be like, hey, in passing, but actually have like a conversation with her about her impact on women's sports, her impact on me, and then, you know, discussing how things are changing, what more we can do, and just having that ability to actually sit and talk with her was insane. Like, insane. I never thought that I would get to like meet her in person, and she was so nice, and I mean literally just had a conversation. And it's funny because usually when I'm in public, like I don't like approaching people. I don't like having like long conversations with people. But kind of like the show here is called Welcome Home. When I went to All-Star Weekend, like the people there, like I felt like I was at home. Like these people were just as excited and passionate about the league and the players and everything that's going on. That like I had great conversations with a lot of people, and it felt like I was like where I was supposed to be, if that makes sense. And so I think a lot of people are searching for those spaces if they don't already have it. If they already have it, kudos to you. I'm super excited. I really believe that everybody should find like that space, and I'm trying to create that space here on Twitch, on YouTube, of just like when you come to me or come to my channel or come to my Discord, like you feel like you belong, like you can have those conversations with me. We could just chill, we can talk about whomever, whenever, whatever game, no matter when it happened, whether it was in the past, whether it's current, like we can talk about it. It doesn't matter. So I want to create that environment where we can talk about it all. We can talk about every sport. We can talk about all the athletes. We can talk about players when they retire. We can give people their flowers. This is all about educating and celebrating what we have in the women's sports world right now. Yes, so we'll be covering it all. Eventually, there'll be a segment for you guys to ask me questions. So, what I want you guys to get in the habit of on the YouTube channel, leave any questions in the comments, any topics or players that you want to see covered. Just leave them in the comments, because then that way I have like something that I can go back to and make sure I get things covered and that I answer certain questions and I do my research so that I can give you guys the most educated response, best answer I can, especially if it's dealing with somebody that's not me. So I definitely want to make sure you guys get correct information in regards to whatever you ask about. So definitely, once the video is posted on YouTube, leave either a question in the comment, a topic you want covered, a player you want covered, stuff within the world of women's sports. No matter what sport it is, I can always find information. So don't worry if you think it's a sport that I'm not specifically covering. Like, I plan on covering just about every sport possible when it comes to women's sports. Because even if they don't have a league, they're playing somewhere. Whether they're playing in college, they're playing overseas, they're probably playing somewhere. So I'm trying to get everything covered. And then things that don't have like a regular season, we'll still get them covered. Like track and field is still one of my favorites to watch. I ran track and field, so we'll cover some track and field athletes as well, even though their seasons and races be kind of all over the place, but we'll get into that as well. So that's why I said questions about any sport, any women athletes, just leave them in the comments. That way it's easy for me to find and I can try to address it the next show, depending on how long it takes me to get the information, but I will eventually get it covered in a show if you leave it in the comments. The main goal of Welcome Home is to educate, appreciate, support, and promote women's sports. That is the goal of Welcome Home and LadyBlueflames. Educate, appreciate, support, and promote women's sports. A safe space for all the fans, the players, the coaches to be here to learn, support, grow, and promote. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of Welcome Home. Welcome home.